I went into the studios there in Manchester Street and went and met Tony Palmer, the old sports journalist, and gave him a very firm handshake as a little whippersnapper 11-year-old and said, "Tony, I think you should give me the job." And he did. And yeah, it was amazing. So I would review movies and video games, and I would interview, you know, all the bands and stuff that were coming through New Zealand. It was amazing. I got to meet some of my heroes of the time, you know. I once interviewed Ben Harper, who was, you know, he was my hero. I played guitar as a kid and really looked up to him. And so that was an amazing experience. Got him to sign my guitar. I was really nervous. I tried to come up with these really deep sort of questions to ask him. And so that was cool. And yeah, interviewed Bone Thugs and Harmony and all the pop stars that were coming through town. So it was an amazing experience. The character was a guy called Ram, who was a villainous paraplegic polygamist. And man, my eyes just lit up at this character. It's like, you know, for a 15, 16-year-old guy to play the villain, let alone such a sort of colourful, electric, larger-than-life character, I was so excited. But I went along to my first audition. It was actually Dra McKay, the Wellington actress slash sort of casting director who was running the auditions. And I bombed it, like just completely couldn't remember my lines. I don't know if I was nervous or what. But Dra pulled me aside and she said, "Now, young man, you're going to come back next week. I'm going to give you another shot and you're going to blow it out of the park." And you know, I sort of took on the challenge, went away, prepped up, and booked the role. And I was so excited. Yeah, it was amazing, really amazing experience. And you know, a lot of those actors off that show, many of them have gone on to have, you know, pretty successful careers. And of course, it was where I met James Napier Robertson, who's now, you know, my business partner and very close friend and collaborator. I really enjoyed my time on Shorty. Up until then, I'd worked on shows where the target audience they were, you know, kids shows predominantly. So The Tribe, Power Rangers, they were made for a very young audience. And so just to be, you know, dealing with subject matter that was somewhat more adult and more mature was exciting for me for a period. And the fast turnaround side of things was a rush, you know. You've got to be on, you've got to nail it first or second take, or else they'll buy it anyway because they have to. So it's up to you to prepare and to, you know, strengthen those muscles to be able to get there quickly. I think it was, yeah, a really good experience. I spent a bit of time in the church as a young man myself, actually, as a teenager, and so, you know, I was very interested in that world and in the character, and had some stuff that I could draw on. But you know, like all characters on soaps, you know, you tend to find if you stay on there long enough, your character really shifts in terms of who and what they are to such a massive extent. He was a very different guy when I finished my time with Baxter to when I first started, yeah. It was an insane idea. James had directed a couple of shorts before that, but nothing, you know, really substantial. And I had worked as an assistant director and done some production stuff and commercials, and you know, we'd both spent a lot of time on set, so I think we had some understanding of the process. But it was way into the deep end to set out to make a feature film. And we had to finance it, of course, you know, and find the money. I'm really proud of I'm Not Harry Jenson, and proud of what we pulled off. But really it was a film school for James and I as well. You know, it was a practical film school. Personally, for me as a producer, I learnt so much on that one from getting things wrong. You know, I did some deals that I regretted, and you know, really realized that my understanding of the business was limited to the production end, and I had no idea about the afterlife of a film when it actually goes out to an audience and to the marketplace. Yeah, so it was amazing, but tough. It was tough, man, and you know, we weren't making any money for those couple of years, so it was lean and and we were working really hard, but we were determined, and we had a dream, I guess. You know? Ian Mune had actually directed James and I as teenagers on The Tribe, and we got on really well. And so we reached out, we got Muni on board, and then, you know, we can call other people and say, well, look, Ian's involved, and, you know, James's uncle, Marshall Napier, also had a cameo in the film. So we sort of built our cast around that, and yeah. And then I jumped in into the cast just to save on fees and kick the budget down, and yeah, that was an experience. If I look back at the 3 feature films and the various shorts and things that we've made, I'd say that Everything We Loved was probably the most smooth running ship of all of them. And that's saying something considering it was a micro budget. You know, the thing was made for $250,000. And a whole lot of goodwill and generosity, of course, from the industry. But there was just a great vibe on that set. It was really clear what we were setting out to do. We were all unified on the film that we were making, you know. And in terms of the scope of the film and the story, it was quite contained. So it was well suited to a micro budget. One of the highlights is, you know, Max, myself, and Luke Robinson, the other producer, we had a number of discussions, as you do, during the development phase, talking about how the film would look and feel and what the tone would be like. And when I look back at the completed film now, it's so close to how I imagined it, and that's really gratifying, yeah. It's probably the most challenging thing I've ever done in my life, is getting that film over the line. Yeah, there's just so many aspects. I mean, during development, about a year into the development of the project, to lose Genesis himself, he was obviously such a key part of the project, and he'd become a close friend. So that was a massive loss, and something that we had to dig pretty deep to kind of find the energy to get the project back on its tracks after that. The dynamics around the project shifted then as well, you know, because Genesis wasn't there to protect his own legacy and to be the spokesman for his story. It then became, you know, Jen's whānau and Jen's Eastern Knights Chess Club whānau. And so we had, you know, our team sort of expanded and broadened, and we had new relationships to build. And but I mean, even the script, you know, it's a highly complex script. There are, you know, multiple storylines in that character, and in that script, multiple subplots, and you know, what James and I always really wanted to achieve was a kind of subtlety and a delicate touch to some of those provocative elements in the story. And so yeah, we lived it, man. You know, it became our #1 point of focus for the 4 coming up 5 years that we were on the job. Man, we were blessed with the cast that we had on that film. Cliff is an obvious and undeniable sort of powerhouse of talent. But on the other hand, Wayne Huppy, who's a first-time actor, I thought gave an absolutely stunning performance. Yeah, our cast were brilliant, each and every one of them. And yeah, so grateful for their contributions. I guess, yeah, I feel really privileged to be able to do what I do for a job. You know, I get to collaborate with like-minded people who I love, and I get to explore things about the human experience that I find interesting. So yeah, I'm really grateful to be where I am, doing what I'm doing, and I hope to keep doing it and keep growing for many years to come.